Moving to one of the other marquee topics the country is talking about, National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has revealed that Gauteng is to get its own political killings task team in about a month's time. He revealed this on the sidelines of the Interpol Africa conference in Cape Town yesterday. It comes as 121 case dockets allegedly taken from the KwaZulu-Natal political killings task team have possibly going to be returned now. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi blew the whistle on the matter in July. You will recall that he claimed the Deputy Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya had pulled those dockets on the instructions of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. Let's talk about these very important developments with retired Interpol Ambassador and Security Strategist Andy Mashaile. Andy, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We mentioned the context in which all of this is happening. These dockets are to be processed, Fani Masemola says, and then returned to KwaZulu-Natal. It was part of that theatre of intrigue that Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi highlighted to the country in what is now that explosive news conference. How significant is this development given the context? You remember as well, Shadrack Sibiya suspended, Senzo Mchunu placed on special leave pending the outcome of that inquiry.
Iman, good morning to you, my wonderful sister, and to your viewers. A very significant step, a foundational act that empowers and defines the two inquiries. I have looked at it from 4 points quickly, Iman. It provides central evidence for the inquiries. It validates the core allegation and shifts the burden of proof. It also defines the scope of the inquiries. Lastly, it signifies high-level support and serious intent on these matters that were raised by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
So two things I want to pick out of your laundry list of four there, Andy, and let's perhaps start with providing central evidence for the inquiry, because what we are expecting, or I may ask it differently, do we expect then potentially prosecutions to arise from this?
Iman, as I was engaged in some serious discussions yesterday afternoon with some of your producers, one of the things would be when the two processes are running, given the 121 dockets, what does it mean for the two processes that are running? And point number two, does it mean that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is now going to pursue investigations as well as chase arrest or chase suspects mentioned in those 121 dockets? Number three, will the commission say stop the pursuit of the suspects in the 121 dockets, or will the two processes, the two inquiries say continue doing your work but come before us and lay evidence with regard to what you are saying? So providing central evidence to the two inquiries suggests that he has said there are 121 dockets somewhere in Pretoria handled by Ntate Deputy National Commissioner Lieutenant General Sibiya. Now the dockets are being sent back to him. Going to point number four that I made, high-level support and serious intent with regard to backing him up. The question becomes, if you were you General Sibiya, or I was General Sibiya, and I got instructions from the minister to take hold of those documents and keep them in my office, and I am now on suspension, what happened that the docket should then be retrieved from his safe to make their way to KZN? Did someone go into his office to look for the documents? Are we looking at a possibility of evidence tampering, or is the evidence in those dockets still secure. So this is a very complex matter.
Because I wanted to ask that, because you've answered my second issue from your first four that you presented about the seriousness. You're saying this is a development that should assure South Africans that the matter is being taken seriously. But Mashaile also said that these dockets would be processed, and I think you're talking there to the issue of what that processing actually means in terms of retaining the integrity of those dockets in the way that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi last left them, or whoever was investigating them last left them. What other concerns should we have about that concept of processing?
One, evidence tampering. Two, possible intimidation of witnesses. Three, some stalling tactics can apply. Four, there might be some legal challenges with regard to the contents of the docket. And why would there be legal challenges if some of the names in those dockets are names of other deputy national commissioners, and they get to have wind of the contents of those dockets? There is a serious possibility that there can be legal challenges to clear one out, and many of those things that would ensure that I, as a Deputy National Commissioner, or yourself, Iman, as a Deputy National Commissioner, do not get arrested. So there is a cocktail of dynamics that must be properly navigated around, so that you don't find your good intentions of processing the dockets leading to serious challenges.
Let's talk about the political killings task team that Gauteng is now set to get. From a security strategist perspective, do you think it's going to make a real difference, or is it a duplication without addressing the deeper systemic issues?
One, systemic issues need to be sorted out. Whether the cat is black or the cat is white, it will do one purpose: to hunt down the mice in the house. The color of the cat is not an issue. The color, the mice in the house are the challenge that needs to be sorted out. So long story short, the mice analogy would be a systemic description of what we are talking about. I think in Gauteng, this political killings task team will serve a huge value and will deliver some huge benefits to some of the people that we have learned that have been killed mysteriously in a number of communities, including your Rand West, where some councillors' houses were bombed and some were killed during the day from meetings of councils and many of those things. This information is out in the public, but when one made inquiries, one learned that the cases have not gone anywhere. And as a result, one was thinking, can there be a need for the Gauteng political killing task team? So I applaud the National Commissioner and his leadership for thinking along those lines. It's not only in the places like Rand West City, it's all over Gauteng, where there have been mysterious or suspicious deaths of politicians, stroke councillors, or stroke activists, as it were.
How do you see key pieces on the chessboard falling, Andy, when we think about the bigger picture and some of the other, revelations that were made, I want to call them, during what Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi had to say? There are investigations over the last couple of days various journalists have done, which talk about communications between former police minister Becky Cele and people implicated in this whole web of intrigue, people like Kat Matlala. Also, at the very beginning, when Senzo Mchunu had said, these allegations made by, or these revelations made by Mkhwanazi were baseless. We know he's been placed on special leave. A number of big names, political futures are at stake here. And I'd be very interested from your vantage point and the conversations you've been having with various people on how you see this high-stakes game playing out.
Iman, thank you for the chess analogy. You and I and the viewer there have seen the pawns being captured. The pawns being captured means those that have been arrested and are now in front of the court of law. I see a checkmate coming through, amongst others, having had seen the minister being put on special leave and people like General Sibiya being suspended. I see the Queen being shifted from the position of guarding the king. Ultimately, the king and the queen being those at higher levels that have been shifted or moved around as a result of the revelations. I think both you and I are looking at who the king is, and the process will lead us as it unfolds to identify the moves of the knights around the king, as well as the bishops and the castles guarding the king. As the game continues by the sitting of the two processes, the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee as well as the Madlanga or Justice Madlanga Commission, we will begin to see the moves, and the moves will lead us to arrive at a checkmate before, as South Africans, before the real checkmate happens as a result of the findings of the commission. Should they converge, it will add value and legitimacy to the process. Should they diverge, that is the findings, it will create some serious fallout in terms of legitimacy of the process, legitimacy of the institutions.
I've got to leave it there, Andy. I almost regret bringing in the chess analogy now, because I want to know who the kings and the queens are and who's going to be checkmated, but maybe that's for another conversation, because we are firmly out of time. Retired Interpol ambassador and security strategist Andy Mashaile. It's going to bring us close to the 8 o'clock hour.